Hey y'all, this is Mike,
And this is Paxton.
and welcome to the Mad LiberTEA Party, where left is right, up is down, rum is always gone, and the world is full of clowns.
If you feel like the world's gone mad, then pull up a chair and we'll throw you a teacup, because we're all mad here.
Yep, and mad is as mad does, but sometimes there's method to our madness. In fact, we've been talking about some negative things with our gaming and role-playing back in the episode that we did the other day. Talking about our history and things of that nature. Today we're going to talk about some of the good things that come from it, though. Since we've tore it down, let's talk about some of the things that we took away.
So, one of the biggest things, because I've got to say this right up front, because I think, at least hopefully, I've stressed enough to you guys that I'm a huge history nerd, and hopefully that comes out in my Twitter and everything else that we do. So one of the biggest things that I feel was a great benefit in my roleplay career was introducing more history to people. Teaching people about gambesons, how to sword fight, how knights actually were, heraldry, how warfare actually works, all these type of things. I mean, I had people all the time coming to me asking me about, hey, my character is wanting to do a war thing, would you advise me on how this would actually work? People asking me advice on their descriptions of their armor to see if it was historically accurate. And inspiring people to do they're just branching out in entirely different things like sigils and making heraldry for people that actually had meaning like they traditionally did.
Yeah, and it's not just history stuff either, because, like, people would come to me and they'd be like, Mike, what does an exit wound like this look like? Or how much trauma is this going to cause? Or am I going to bleed to death from something like this? Would my character bleed to death from this? How do I roleplay this wound? How do I roleplay, an illness? I learned more about mental illness while learning how to play characters with mental illness.
Yeah, that was something that I really appreciated. And I'm sure you did this in your organizations as well, but we all kind of took our expertise. Like I had a former military medic that was telling us all about these medical things and how to deal with wounds. I had one person that was a not an herbalist, but the medicine people, a pharmacist person. We've had cooks and people that had all these different things, and we all kind of pulled together to get just learn more in general. It was a great pool of wealth for learning.
And it's a way to apply the things if you don't have anything to apply them to, too.
That was my biggest thing. Like, I made most of my characters to apply my history love to the game. Teaching people about swords and all that stuff was something I can't really do in my day-to-day life, and there's not a lot of people that really have that big of an interest, at least next door to me. So going into a place where swords were relevant, it was much more likely for me to meet people that had that interest. So that's the biggest thing, is just learning in general. A huge wealth of knowledge in that community, because there's a lot of people and we're all interested in socializing, and we all have a similar interest. It's very easy to get to know the people in there, I would say.
And on that note, talking about good things that came out of roleplay, like the socializing itself helped a lot of people. Like, I would meet some people who were very creative, but they had the social presence of like a half salted slug. And if they didn't believe that they could create things. They didn't believe that their stuff was good. They thought that they were lame. They thought that everybody hated them and stuff. And, appealing to my nature, it allowed me to be like, this is beautiful. Everyone look at this. And then they're all like, what the... And the next thing you know, they're acting like their stuff is good. Which is good. People need to know their worth. And, like... It's a good outlet. The community itself is a great place to practice that, too. Get a practice run.
Yeah, kind of building off of that is I was probably the half-salted slug. I am extremely introverted, but I learned how to socialize and communicate appropriately through World of Warcraft. Because the thing is, when you're talking to people through text, you you can't do everything you would typically do in a normal conversation. There's a certain way to do it, especially if they're a stranger and it's the first time engaging with them. There's a certain cordial way of interacting with people. The general rule that I always had for people whenever my socializing team that would go out to meet new people and stuff, the general rule I always had is to be aggressively nice to people. Just be aggressively nice. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with being aggressively nice and saying thank you and have a nice day. And even if they're like screaming at you and you do that back to them, a lot of the times it either ends it outright, or at the very least you don't look like the asshole in the encounter.
Yeah, I mean, like, I ran a group of villains, but out of characterly, everyone just thought we were the nicest, sweetest people, and they always wanted to hang out with us, and they were all nice to us and everything, because we were like, don't be a dick to people in our tags. If you're a dick to people in our tags, we will take them away from you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, and moreover, because of our particular characters, we had to learn further, more advanced methods of communication and stuff. Yeah. My particular character was very charismatic and very manipulative, very persuasive. So I had to learn like psychology, sociology. I'm not saying I'm obviously don't have a fucking degree in these things, but I get concepts about things.
A lot.
Right, yeah. Years and years and years of researching this type of stuff so I could properly display the manipulative characteristics of my character. Because, again, we like to go 100% at everything. If I was going to have our characters attack a castle, I did weeks of research on how they actually besieged castles and stuff. That's just how we like to do things, or how I like to do things.
That's how we rolled, yo.
And moreover, just to kind of segue it into the next bit here, one of the biggest things I would say we probably both got out of this is how to get these, using our socialization, how to organize things and how to get shit done with other people, group things, and, well,
how
essentially
to deal with
form
difficult
this.
People.
Yeah.
How to get people to actually do things, because that's actually very hard.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Like, I learned a lot of weird. I learned and used a lot of weird marketing techniques. You learn all sorts of really interesting shit when you're trying to roleplay or run things to make big roleplays. But,
oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it can be a great thing. It can be a good learning experience. It can be a good way to build your platform if you're an artist or a writer. Just to make friends with people that you may be friends with for the rest of your life. You never know. You might get stuck with someone like me.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that's probably the biggest benefit, is some of my best friends, they're online, essentially. Mike is someone that I met through World of Warcraft, through roleplay. And our upcoming guest superstar is also somebody that we both met on World of Warcraft with roleplay, and that's kind of actually how we became friends to begin with. Rather than just role-playing and organizing events and stuff, it was actually through this particular person, and his name is
Redneck,
and we learned
Redneck.
No homo. Okay, maybe a little homo.
Maybe a little homo.
Like a little bit of homo. Like, okay.
Maybe a little bit of homo. But yeah, that's, to me,
homo, it's okay.
Redneck.
He was someone else that was really important in the role-playing community. People started attacking him on an out-of-character level and smearing his name because they had nothing better to do and their parents never loved them. And because of
people.
Yeah, and because of that, Mike and I got together and bonded over defending
Redneck
his character, essentially, like his actual out-of-character character. And it was through that everything else kind of came through it. And next thing you know, we're hanging out out-of-characterly through Discord and other means. And yeah, here we are. So you can really meet great people as well as shitty people on there. But the people that you do meet on there, the great people you meet on there, it's definitely worth it in the end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the same could be said for anything, though. You never know where you're gonna meet good people or people that you'll keep with you for ages, you know? You just never know. Did you want to add anything else before we, Skadoodle-roo? Skadoodle-on?
I think the only other thing that I could really add is that it's actually something you can throw on your resume, as long as you word it properly.
Well, yeah, as long as you word it properly.
But I learned a lot. I learned, like, I'm currently a manager at my work, and a lot of the stuff that I learned in game, I have applied into the real life. Because you are managing people, you are organizing events, you are organizing in general, you are training people. And you are learning how to do communication skills. You learn how to criticize things appropriately. You learn about the criticism sandwich, how you have things with a positive, then a negative, and then a positive. And yeah, so it overall, it was a net positive experience, other than all the amounts of time that I put into this that could have been put into something else. That's really the only other thing I have to add to it.
Me too. If you guys have any stories that apply to this that you'd like to share, if y'all had like great friends and you want to talk about your good experiences with role-playing and stuff like that, get down in our comments. If you think we're nerds and dumb and you want to say that, go ahead. We might make fun of you, but you're welcome.
I'm way too handsome to be a nerd.
I mean, whatever. You know, make sure that you guys like it if you like it, and subscribe if you aren't subscribed yet. Make sure that you share this video because it really helps us a lot. If you like us and you like our shit, get up in the Discord. We got a freaking link down there, and we're trying to get people to come in and get active with us, not just on the, you know, like not just in the internet, but out there on the streets. You know, come join the conversation with us and make something. Come help us make something. But until then, you guys be safe. You guys be free. This Mad LiberTEA party is adjourned. Yes, 20 for friendship.